bushing, and that is what centers everything up. So we can go ahead and get our pressure plate installed. We don't want to just torque them down, we want to make sure that we pull this down evenly. Check that to make sure it's still in line. Oh, that sounded good. Normally, you have a clutch fork that sticks through this hole right here, and then it uses a pivot point to push the release bearing or throwout bearing against the fingers of the clutch here, and that's what releases the clutch. Since we're going to be using this Hydromax hydraulic release bearing, what it uses is hydraulic pressure to release the clutch, but it has to push against something in order for that to work properly, and that would be the transmission. But because of tolerances, we don't know exactly how far that is away from the fingers of the clutch here, so we need to take a couple of measurements so we know how many shims we need to put between this and the face of the transmission. So I'm going to be using this straight edge. I'm going to measure to the fingers of the clutch. So our measurement is 4.832 minus the thickness of our square, which is 2.016, and that equals 2.816. And that is the depth of our pressure plate fingers from the face of the bell housing. Okay, now we got the measurement on the engine side. We need to do the same thing over here. On the transmission side, we need to determine how far the release bearing face protrudes from the face of the transmission housing. We're going to do that by installing the release bearing first with no shims and then measure. Our bearing height measurement is 4.223 minus the thickness of our square, and that gives us a total of 2.207 inches of bearing height. So right now our air gap is going to be 2.816 was our measurement at the engine, minus 2.207. That means our air gap right now is 609 thousandths, which we need to be between 100 and 200 thousandths. So we're going to have to shim all of this out. 445. Let's go in there. Collar goes on, followed by the hydraulic release bearing. Make sure it's fully seated. Measure again. So our final bearing height measurement is 4.666 minus 2.016, and that is 2.650.